Hey everyone, welcome to MNMM IELTS. This is Manmohit. Now in today's first video, I am going to share with you all about the introduction of this IELTS exam, what this exam is, the modules, what sort of things are being tested, skills, the question types, the exam format and all that stuff. So if you are preparing for an IELTS exam, do consider subscribing to this because me and Mohit, we are going to upload weekly videos on this channel to help you clear your IELTS exam as well. Now, first thing first, the word IELTS itself. Now this thing basically stands for International English Language Testing System. So International English Language Testing System. There are basically two bodies that conduct this exam. It's either IDP or the British Council. I've myself personally given exams with IDP and British Council both, and I'll get the very first question out of the way as to which one is better. Honestly, just go with the one, whichever the dates are available earlier, or whichever day you feel that you want to give the exam. Just pick and choose whichever you feel like, because there's literally no difference in booking the exam with IDP or the British Council. Simple reason is that there are a bit misconceptions out there that the exam in British Council is a bit easier as compared to IDP, or people saying that you never get scores in IDP, or they say that you never get scores in British Council. Nothing like that happens. People just say that because they did not get their desired band scores, but that does not mean that either one of them deliberately does that stuff. This exam purely depends upon your performance and your English. So pick and choose whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. Whichever one has got the dates available, just go with that one. Now, IELTS exam is basically of two different types. One is an academic exam and another one is the general exam. Now, academic, as the name says, if you are giving the IELTS exam for, let's say, for doing any sort of higher studies, maybe bachelor's, master's, diploma, any sort of thing where you want to move overseas and you want to do some sort of study, academic is the one to go for. General is more in regards to immigration and permanent residency purposes, though you should still definitely check with your immigration lawyer or agent or with the university as to which one they accept, because there are certain universities or small colleges out there which still accept the general exam. So always check with the body, or always check the reason that you're giving this IELTS exam for, and then only book the exam. Now, you might ask me what's the difference in between academic and general. Now, first of all, there's 4 different modules in the exam, which is normal for any other English exam out there, which is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Now, the major difference in academic and general is, first of all, if you talk about the similarities, the listening and the speaking, these two modules are going to be similar for either academic or general. That means whichever one you book, it is not going to matter. Listening and speaking is going to be exactly the same. The difference is in your reading and the writing modules. So depending on which exam you book, academic or general, your reading and writing are going to be different. So just make sure that you book the right exam. Always check with the bodies as to which exam you are required to do. Now, out of these 4 modules, your listening and reading that I've written on the left hand side are called receptive skills, because receptive simply means receiving. So in these 2 modules, you're basically receiving information, and writing and speaking are called productive skills. So productive, as the name says, it means you're producing information. So that's the difference in these 4 modules, or let's say these 2 different modules. Now, in terms of academic and general, there's a difference in how many exams you can give. Now, for academic, you can give up to 4 exams per month, whereas in general, you can give up to 2 exams per month. So that's why I specified upon this thing that always check as to which exam you're supposed to give. General exam, there's usually going to be less dates available because of only 2 exams being conducted, whereas academic, there's 4 times that exam is being conducted, so obviously more dates are available. Now, in terms of duration of the exam, listening is going to be, if you are doing, now that's a bit of a difference here, if you are doing a paper-based exam, the duration for listening is going to be 30 minutes plus additional 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer booklet. If you are doing a computer-based exam, then listening is just going to be 30 minutes and that's it. So within 30 minutes, you have to just put your answer straight away onto the computer screen that is given to you. Whereas reading is going to be worth 60 minutes. And in that, there are going to be 3 different sections or 3 different questions, 20 minutes per each. Then we have writing, which is again going to be 60 minutes, which is going to have 2 questions. And then speaking, which is going to be anywhere between 11 to 14 minutes, since there is going to be an examiner who is going to conduct the exam. So obviously 2 humans are speaking with each other, 2 humans are interacting with each other. So the duration can be roughly between 11 to 14 minutes face to face. Now, listening, reading and writing, they happen in just one day itself. So all these 3 modules will just happen in one day. And the duration for that is going to be complete 2 hours and 45 minutes. Whereas speaking happens on a separate day. Now it can happen on the same day, very rare, but then speaking can happen within 7 days prior or after your other 3 modules. So you will, once you book your exam, will get the dates. Speaking can happen at least 7 days prior, any time within 7 days of your other 3 modules, or it can happen within 7 days after those 3 modules. And I just forgot about listening. Listening, there are going to be 4 sections. Each section would be having about 10 questions in each, and they would range from the difficulty criteria, as in the first 10 questions or first section is going to be the easiest, and the last one, now as per the proper rules and books, it always say last one is going to be the most difficult, but according to me, I think the third section is the most difficult because it has got the MCQs most likely, and the fourth section is still going to be difficult. Now do not let this discourage you, because if you practice well, any section is going to be easy enough for you, but if you do not practice, even the first section can prove the most difficult to you. So it all depends on your English language and also how prepared you are before the exam. Reading, now reading doesn't have any set criteria. Like, it can happen in any way. Like, even the first question can be the most difficult and the third one the most easiest. Now, as per my exam, I did end up getting my first question to be the easiest one. Second was the most difficult, and the third question I would say was moderate. So it was just okay, it was normal, but then it can happen in any sequence. So just the easiest tip here would be just do every single question as it is the most difficult one. So just give your 100% on there, because you've already paid a lot of money, you've already spent a lot of hours, resources to practice. So treat each question as the most important question. Now writing, when it has got 2 questions, first question, now writing is going to be different for general and academic. Now the difference here is first question is going to be different for both, and the second question is going to be same for both. Now second question, which is same, is always going to be an essay, and the word limit for that is going to be at least 250 words. Whereas the first question, if it's a general one, it is going to be a letter that you have to type or either write based on paper-based or computer. And for academic, it is going to be summarizing the text, summarizing the image. Now in summarize, you can get a bar graph, pie chart, could be a diagram, could be some numbers, could be a line graph, anything like that which you have to summarize. Whereas letter, it would have some sort of a question and you have to type or write a letter based on that to someone. And like I said, listening and speaking are going to be similar. In reading, there are going to be 3 questions, even if it's your general exam or even if it's an academic exam, that is going to be similar. But then the difference here is going to be, in academic, you would be getting 3 long paragraphs or passages, whatever you want to call that. And in general, you are going to get 3 questions, but then 1 to 2 paragraphs, short paragraphs. That's the only difference in the reading as well in general and academic. And general reading is going to be more informal kind of reading, as in it's going to be a bit easier as compared to the academic one. But then, like I said, it all depends upon your requirement, because if you are applying for some sort of a university overseas, then most likely it is going to be the academic exam. So you will not even have the option for the general, but then always check with your body. Now, speaking for that matter is one-on-one with the examiner. And like I said, it's going to be 11 to 14 minutes. Now, speaking is always going to have 3 sections. The first one is always going to be the introduction, where they would be asking you about 4 to 5 questions in regards to you, like anything like, tell us your hobbies, where did you grow up, who was your favorite teacher, like these kind of basic introduction, just questions which are related to you. That's the first section. Second section is going to be a cue card, which simply means that they are going to pick up any topic out of the ones that they have got, and they would be asking you to prepare for 1 minute, and then you will have to speak on that for about 2 minutes. Now, this is a very, I would say, weird one, or a bit different one for all the students out there. I've seen that for some students, they just do not even let them speak for 2 minutes. They just end the second part just within a minute or so. Or in some cases, they might even just let it go more than 2 minutes. That's very rare. But on an average, if we talk about, that's what their understanding and the marking criteria says, that it is going to be about 2 minutes that you have to speak on that cue card. For that 1 minute, you would be given a paper and a pen for you to take notes, make up some sort of bullet points that you want to cover. So that's what you can use that 1 minute for. So that would be the second section. And third section is simply going to be follow up. So that's the easier way to understand, follow up questions on the second question. So whatever topic you got in your second section, which is your cue card, the third section is basically going to be the follow up questions in regards to that. For example, in the cue card, they asked you about explain about the last Hollywood movie that you watched. And the reason I mentioned that is because that was my exam question, as to which was the last Hollywood movie that I watched. And then the third section is going to be some follow-up questions in regards to that, as to why did you decide to watch that movie? What did you learn from that movie? So I hope you get the point, some basic follow-up questions in regards to that. So I hope you got a bit of an idea about what this IELTS exam is. Proper English-based exam, no tricks or those kind of techniques that may work in a computer-based exam. Since even if it's a computer-based exam, it is still being marked by the real examiner, a real human being. So there's so much you can try to fool those kind of things. It is a proper English-based exam, so we have to make sure we work on our English on a day-to-day basis. I cannot stress the fact that you have to make sure that you read a lot on a day-to-day basis. The more reading you do, the better your English would be. But then it is still important to understand what each task entails from you, what each topic wants from you, so that at least just for those kind of things, you're not losing marks for no reason. But then this is just the beginning. We are going to come up with a lot of videos in the future. Every single week there is going to be a video at least where we would be explaining you each and every single topic in a lot more detail, and many strategies based videos as well, which would be uploaded on our channel. So do consider subscribing so that whenever the new videos are up, you do get notified about them. Also, you can leave your comments down below if you have some sort of specific content that you have in mind that we can create in the future. We can consider that and we can make videos based on that as well. So I hope you find this video a bit useful and helpful, especially for the people who are going to give the IELTS exam for the very first time. Stay tuned for more. All the best if you have got your exams coming soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.